Well, hey friends, we are looking into the new moon in Virgo, which happened last night. We had the moon and the sun traveling together on the other side of the world. And when they came up this morning here in Flagstaff, Arizona, they had just parted ways. And so as we slept last night, the sky was dark. There was no moon in the sky. And in that void, what did we dream up for the month that comes? For the 2 weeks until the full moon, what will we bring into fruition? And how are other things going on out there? We had a square to Mars in Gemini, which I've been feeling a lot, which is in both of these in friendly relationship with Mercury in Libra, who is just helping both sides hear each other out. And then we also are seeing that Mars was sextile Jupiter, which I am feeling today. I feel full of joy. I feel inspired. I feel ready to take action in a constructive and optimistic way. And so I just find it interesting to actually do a reading right now in these energies. And I'm curious if you also feel these things too. You might also be feeling that Venus, opposed to Saturn, is getting a no. She's getting a, you gotta wait. And she just went through an encounter with the North Node and the South Node, where Venus had to learn what has been a series, the last, most recent in a series of difficult lessons about her desires, about letting go of things that no longer work for her. She's kind of having a Queen of Swords experience. So I'm really curious about what Venus is being told. No, you got to wait. So we've got some planning, timing. That's your Virgo energy and your Saturn energy. But we also have all of this go for it, inspiration. And so there's tensions in the sky, and theoretically, these tensions are in us. So let's pull some cards and find out what is going on. We'll just ask some questions about, I definitely want to know what Venus is hearing no about. Maybe we'll ask some timing on that as we go along. And then I want to know what we're envisioning here in this new moon. We'll start with that question of just kind of an overall idea of what we dreamed up last night during the absence of the moon from the sky while she traveled across the Atlantic and across the continental United States. Well, that is a beautiful Virgo energy. We get the Queen of Pentacles here. So we had visions of Earth. I certainly relate to that. And I see the cow, domesticated animal, comes in. And then I see this wild hare. This feels like Mars, ready to go. And this one is that Virgo energy of like, wait a minute, what's the plan here? So a tension between our domesticated selves and our wild selves. And I also see in the sky that red body, probably the moon, but it makes me think of Mars too. So, and there's that butterfly or moth denoting the transformation process that we have seen Venus going through. So all the things I just talked about showing up here in this Queen of Pentacles, that really 3D, earthy. I'm looking at the bottom of the deck, which distracted me because I see another Queen here. This is our Venus energy, diving deep, the Queen of Cups. And a finding of balance here with the Two of Pentacles. Very practical finding of balance. So yes, I get Venus, emotional energy. I get the tension with Mars. And I see these dolphins swimming in seeking balance. around what always looks like an avocado pit to me in this card, but is definitely a heavenly body, a moon or a planet out there. All right, so let's see, what do we want to ask the cards here? Oh, the other thing I learned as I was preparing for this reading is that now that Uranus and Taurus has gone retrograde, all of the outer planets are in retrograde. And that includes Jupiter, who is sextiling with Mars and is bringing in all that inspiration. And what that means is that we're going inward and we're reflecting on where we've just traveled from over the past year, all the lessons that we've learned. So I see lots of swords popping up here as I shuffle. All right, so I'm going to ask the usual basic advice spread that I like to do, which is your release, embrace, your revisit because of all these retrogrades, what's hidden and what's coming in, and we'll see what comes up around this new moon. What are these very practical plans and what is our tension here about? Okay. I'm really curious, like, what is the no that Venus is hearing? So let's add that. So we'll add that to our mix here. Okay. We are releasing a 10 of Pentacles, our ideas of wealth, of abundance, of security, our 3D lives. It sort of makes me think, it looks like, strangely, like I see tornadoes in this. I'm not sure what those brown things are supposed to be under this upside down rainbow. So it's kind of a weird card. And then this makes me think of like a football field. Odd. So we'll see what that's about. 10 of Pentacles, that's like we finished with the getting rich part of our life, or our career part. But it's also really about our structures and what we have built. So that's a big thing to release. Let's see, what will should we embrace? Grief, a 5 of Cups. That is an image that shows you in a state of grief over what you've lost. These are emotional losses. There are 2 full cups here. You have yet to turn and see them. But you have your hand on your heart here and you're looking backwards. You're looking actually at this 10 of Pentacles with the tornadoes on it, whatever those are really supposed to be. You know, this is a new deck. Let's see. Maybe the book will explain that 10 of Pentacles. Let's see. I actually haven't looked at this at all, so bear with me. So this is what we were releasing: prosperity, financial stability, accomplishment. This card reflects the kind of stable and fulfilling life we all fantasize about. The usual meaning of it. So it doesn't say anything about those tornadoes. It's weirdly, like, it's a very weird card. It makes me feel like this is a tower, but maybe that's just because this is in our release. Okay, what are we revisiting? We are revisiting our struggle, the 9 of Wands. This is after a long journey of exerting your will in some area. This is fire energy, that Martian energy. You've had some bumps on the head. You've had some wins. You've had some losses. But you're tired, but you're also almost there. So in a way, what we're doing is we're revisiting what has been a very challenging time, at least astrologically, and from what I see in the cards. It has been a period of letting go of things. And it has really demanded a lot, and it has been uncomfortable. All right, so let's ask what Venus is having to release. Wow. We're saying no here. This is very Saturn energy. King of Pentacles. Saying no. That's Venus's. No, remember you're coming in here with the Queen. She likes to hang out with this King of Pentacles. And a no with Saturn, that opposition with Saturn is between Venus and Saturn is what we're asking about here. The astrologers I listen to say, well, that could be just a not yet. So if you have been looking for your soulmate, your match, that's what is being said no to. It also could be if you've been looking outside for, maybe what you as a queen can get yourself. Let's see. We're going to ask here what's hidden. This keeps coming in what's hidden, and it is the queen, the high priestess. She is the queen of what is hidden. She is also tells you that you already know this, that you intuitively know this. She is very different from this Pentacles, King and Queen of Pentacles that we have here, which I associate with structural power in the 3D world as it is. This energy, this very earth energy, the Pentacles. The High Priestess is outside of structure. She is the 5D instead of the 3D. She's our intuitive knowing and connection to the divine. So this appears to be out of our consciousness in some way. And finally, what's coming in here? An Ace of Cups. All right. So if you were waiting for love, it's coming in. Brand new emotional love. Very different from the security here that you are being told no to. So I feel like that is what we're seeing there. We will clarify all of this. Underlying energies. Two, very, very practical, and we have a repetition of the Two of Pentacles here. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. It's the avocado. The avocado pit is repeated here in this Two of Pentacles. So balancing, very, very real things that need to be brought into balance. And also we see underlying a Page of Pentacles, a new real offer being brought to you by this fun person with pink hair and purple skin. Okay. All right, well, let's clarify, because we got a lot of cards on the table. I'm not entirely clear about what the story is yet. There's definitely an emotional and practical balancing act. And I actually see loss and frustration and exhaustion on the table here. In an area of your life, like I'm really getting Venus hearing no, and I'm getting the frustration of that tension between the sun and the moon, and over in Virgo, practical, how are you going to do it? And Mars in Gemini, who I've been feeling as like inspired, a little bit physical or a lot physical, desire to communicate from the, the more controversial part of myself. Also, a lot of the kind of brave parts of myself, too. See what you've been feeling. See if that resonates with you. We have to be careful about how we communicate, because Gemini is an air sign. But luckily, with Mercury over there in Libra, we should be having a little balancing. It's a nice trine angle aspect, and it makes it easier. Be like, well, what do you think? And what do you think? That Justice card that goes with Libra energy. Think about that. And that's why we get this twice. I love how it seems to be true. When I miss it, the tarot reminds me. I don't see Justice on the table yet. Could have been a little less subtle tarot, but okay. So there's balancing of urges here and waiting. Okay, what's happening here with this tornado on this football field? It is the Ten of Pentacles with the upside down rainbow. Is that not an accurate description of that? We're releasing this. I'm going to have to get Does anyone have an opinion about what the heck is going on in this card? Please do let me know. I'm confused. Yeah, it makes me think of like a tournament. Like, this is the championship game here at a tournament. Funny. None of which has anything to do with the normal meaning of this card. Okay, I'm not complaining, I'm just provoked here. So we have, this is in our release, Ace of Pentacles. A new beginning, new job, new home. The Fool. Something new is set out upon. Kind of when we had a lot going on in Aries. And that's where what is in Aries? Oh, that is where Jupiter is in Aries. And we have a time of healing. Four of Swords. In your mind. Swords are your mind. It's like you set out on a new journey towards a 3D beginning, and then you end up stuck, contemplating the very ideas on which you based this journey. So that's what we're releasing, is like we had like a concept of, we had a plan. This looks so much like a strategy, like a tournament, right? You played the game, and here you are, you're in the championship. It's an idea of abundance, of how the world should be and what it means to be successful. And you set out on this journey like the Fool. And so sometimes the Fool is just a wonderful energy full of faith. The leaper of faith is the Fool. But also sometimes you're just a fool. And so you went after something, a vision in the Pentacles, right? So you have, like you said, after this vision, this new offer, and it didn't work out. Like it ended up not being the right situation for you. And so you're being caused to go inward and reflect on your concept of success here. And perhaps you have completed this work here. Perhaps this is what all of this Earth energy, all the Saturn and Virgo stuff of like, well, what's your plan? And then the Swords, that's Gemini and Libra, where we have Mars and Mercury. So that's your air. And so that energy is coming in here too. I feel a little bit like I might not be, like I've got too many things going on. Sometimes this happens. So I hope I'm being clear. Usually when I go back and look at these readings, I am very clear, but it might be important to know that your reader is feeling like there's a lot going on. And that's a Gemini feeling. So Mars has this mojo, but in Gemini, it's like, I'm so open to, let's do this and this and this and this. And it can just be a feeling of scatteredness. And I'm definitely feeling that in this reading in a way. So take or leave. That's what's happening in your reader. So I'm wondering, you're supposed to embrace a process that I see of like honoring what has been lost and letting it go, grieving. Before you turn to the new thing, take time to realize that what you set off on, you set off towards this Ten of Pentacles vision like a fool, full-throated, full-hearted, just like with this wonderful adventure. And it didn't work out. It was not the right vision. You then end up having to re-envision here in this Four of Swords. So embrace that sucks. That hurts. It's hard to let go of things. And with earth signs, that can be a slower energy, but I actually think about how we've had so much happening in fixed signs, which they have a real hard time letting go of. I am a fixed sign in so many ways. That's Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, and Taurus, which is where we have Uranus having a revolution over there in Taurus. So we've had difficulty letting go, and it's been uncomfortable, and we've been letting a lot go. And so embrace a moment or a spell here of grief. But let's see, what else upon clarification do we get? There is the visioning, the Three of Wands. That's what you saw, and you waited for it. And there's a Knight of Cups, leaving that situation. So you leave this situation with your heart forth, ready to manifest a new vision, the Magician. You have all the tools, and you have the capacity to make that real. Yeah. And notice that what we're heading towards is an Ace of Cups, and this is what our Knight of Cups carries forward. And we see in the card we're clarifying, remember there are those two cups there behind her. And that can be like a Two of Cups, which would be like a soulmate connection. It also tends to come in larger collective readings for me as that feeling of justice that Libra brings in here for us. Okay, now you are revisiting with all these retrogrades all your long struggle. You know, I'm a history professor, so I look at the history of struggle and I look at it for inspiration. And this person here, you can see she is holding some kind of a torch. Oh, it's sage. It's a cleansing energy. Interesting. So she's got a bundle of sage, which not just in Indigenous American traditions, but also in Celtic traditions, sage provides a cleansing to a space that is needed after struggle. He's just got all these energies in here, and then if you find this works for you, and I was very resistant to burning sage because I didn't want to be appropriative of Indigenous traditions, and you have to be very careful about how you gather sage. And but my natural magic teacher taught me that this is also a tradition from Europe, and I, as a person of European heritage, one that I could learn to practice and grow my own sage and do this properly. And what I was surprised to find is that it was incredibly cleansing of the energy in my home to burn sage and walk around the house and sign, S-A-I-N, to cleanse my space. I also learned that if you drink tea from sage, it will cause your menses to start. So that's very useful information. Okay, so let's look at this. Apparently I have a lot to say today, and of course I'm going to blame Gemini for that again, or thank Gemini for that. Chattiness again. All right, we're revisiting this Nine of Wands. So there's friendship, perhaps reconciliation of a Three of Cups. Simple start. This is what we see the Knight of Cups riding towards here on the table. There's you changing your mind. So this is what we're revisiting. Or you change location, Six of Swords, your mind, and you go from ideas or a situation that is disturbing to calmer waters. And, the Hierophant, our structural power, our institutions. It could be a mentor. So you're going back over the past here. It begins with this Three of Cups, with this celebration. And it was like you were young and naive and you set out on this journey full of hope, and your heart was in it. And then the three of you came to feel like this. It was a long journey. That's what this is about. It's been a long struggle. And the struggle has been against all the institutional, very powerful energy out there with the Hierophant. Which is, I'm noticing here in this, it's just like a playing cards using the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. It's like number 5. And in the tarot, 5s are passageways. They're difficult. Like you have this 5. This is a difficult feeling. It is, you grieve and then you turn to the new beginning. All right, so that's Jodorowsky's reading of 5s in the tarot as passageways. And so I'm reminded, I'm teaching a class on the history of ACT UP, AIDS, activism. It was a long time that these people were activists, and there's this documentary I show of the 15 years of ACT UP history. And what you see in the beginning are these young, healthy-looking people who think that they're going to be able to change the world in immediately. There's a lot of white people, there's a lot of white men in this movement, and they're used to getting what they want. But it takes over 15 years. And at the end of the film, it's heartbreaking how exhausted they are. And that's what I feel here, that you're revisiting a very long struggle that began with high hopes and turned into an exhausting confrontation with structural power. And ACT UP changed the world. But we have forgotten that history, so we need to remember that history. So that's a part of what I'm thinking of here when I look at this revisit. There's really all the major planets out there, all the outer, very powerful, influential planets in retrograde. And that moves me. What we see in the film is these hilarious, brilliant, creative chants, and all these creative actions taken in the early part of ACT UP history, and to where they just become so wise to the situation that they're in, and the disease so relentlessly taking their lives, that they are literally taking the ashes of their loved ones and marching silently to the White House and throwing the ashes on the lawn. And then, that's not harsh and hardcore enough, then they start having funerals in the streets, and they're carrying their beloved dead loved ones down the street in open coffins and confronting the police about their right to do that. Full of despair and determination. And that's what I see. We're reflecting on that now. That's some big stuff here. And we embrace this looking back before we move forward in this Knight of Cups as the magician ready to make the new world. So Venus, I asked, what is she hearing know about? And it is this King of Pentacles. So let's find out more about that. It's a little bit of a wrong thing to ask for feeling for me, because the cups it's too practical. But that's my prejudice. So there's so much earth on the table here. So many pentacles. So let's see. Queen of Swords. Get clarity and cut out what doesn't work. That's a no right there. Wheel of Fortune. Things changing and turning in your favor. And the Chariot, momentum. Okay, so whatever you wanted, whatever Venus wants, this King of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords says no. But then we can see that there's going to be a change in your favor, and then you're going to have all the momentum towards what you want. So that's exactly what the astrologers said we will experience. Whatever your heart's desire is being met with the Queen of Swords. Real practical, clear, intellectual, reasoned, Saturnian. It's not time yet. And then time with the Wheel of Fortune, it changes. So your situation changes. And then boom, you get to ride forward towards that. How about the High Priestess? This is what is hidden from us. We get the 10 of Cups wants to pop out. This is our emotional ideal. This is that rainbow just world, a livable existence for all. Action, communication, and a little young, fun Page of Cups, offering, it's like a cup with a fish in it here. This is kind of silly and lighthearted. And so we see the Queen of, I keep calling her a queen, High Priestess. I want her to call her the Queen of Secrets and the unknown and what is hidden, because this is here in the hidden position. So what's hidden from you is that your ideal, your emotional fulfillment, your ideal with others, your community, your family, your relationship, that moving towards that, it's with this 8 of Wands, it just begins with a cute little flirtation, a little offering coming from your heart, being fun, being lighthearted. Just offer that, right? We already see you going forward with that heart, with that cup. And we can see that is one of the tools, the cup, the pentacle, the wand, and the sword are the tools of the magician, all the tools in the tarot that you have, and you're embracing that as you go forward. And maybe because you've been with this revisit, with this 9 of Wands, it was like brought up like a really incredibly long look at history and how long you've been struggling against institutional power. And so it might surprise you to learn that you begin going towards the world that you want. This just society is what it comes in for me, with just that little offering of your heart. No big deal, but importantly of your heart, a cup. And in the future, we see an Ace of Cups. So let's find out what's going on with that. A Page of Pentacles. I was just wondering about the Page of Pentacles because they are already on the table. You may recall the fun, this one brings a real offer. It's a really earthy offer. So that coming in with an Ace of Cups, it's like emotional and real. It's embodied. It's in the real world, right? And that's what our overall feeling is a real world thing here. And I'm seeing this rabbit intention representing that Martian, that wild, that wands, fire energy, intention with this more domesticated Virgo, earthy energy of the Queen of Pentacles. So let me keep looking here. That's this balancing. Okay, there she is, the Queen of Pentacles herself. She knows her worth. That used to be how she always came in for me. And there is 4 of Wands, a wedding, a celebration, a partnership, soulmate connection in your future. It really looks, so in your future is this Ace of Cups. It's love. It's divine love. It's self-love. It's true love. I've already seen you riding forward as the Knight of Cups with your heart. And it's not a small thing that you have ridden forward with your heart. You've been through a lot. That's what we revisited with that Nine of Wands. You're being told to wait on something that is like your partner, your King of Pentacles, to your Queen of Pentacles as you're coming in. And then what's hidden from you is it's almost like you might consider a younger, less serious energy as you bring your heart forward. Or you might actually, because we see these two here, one of you is young in this. So if you're involved, if this is a personal relationship, right, it's with a younger person, or you're the younger person. So it's like you're riding forward with your heart, and then this is, oops, on the table there like this. You're riding forward, and this is who you're being met with. So you might not see that as, that's what's hidden from you, right? And it's because you wanted this. You wanted this solid guy. Kind of boring. I far prefer a Page of Cups over a King of Pentacles, personally. Then we see this meeting in the end here of a Queen of Pentacles and a Page of Pentacles. Again, an age difference. So if this is a romantic relationship, could be an age difference. We see like this is the partnership, the person where you get to be your absolute authentic self. It's very passionate, Four of Wands. It's a beautiful energy. All of this under an Ace of Cups, right? So if this is a larger part of your life, what I see, young cards, these pages meeting the elders, has these cross-generational, transgenerational alliances that we need to make. And us oldsters, we need to learn from young people. We need to receive the gift that they're offering. We need to not take it lightly. It is a real gift. And this person, because of this deck, this is a very transgender person. So this may be, for me, that is my people. People that are gender flux, right? That's my people, as you can see. But there's a generational difference, and we are seeing this here, this tension between the young, wild, undomesticated, radical youth energies and these settled, structural, beautiful vision of the past. I think because of things that are happening in the present, we are looking at history, right? So I told you about the history of AIDS activism. The other thing that I will be addressing in my classes is the end of Roe. And it causes us to look back at the people who were bringing safe abortion to people who needed it before it was legal. And those people are very brave. And I was thinking about the millennial boomer battle that happened a couple years ago. And at the time I thought, these boomers did a lot for us, and we just don't remember the history correctly. So there's a real interesting push here to look back across age differences. If you're a young person, be sure you're right about what happened in the past before you dismiss your elders as potential allies. And for elders who are in this moment, like, we're prepared, we have tools and experience and a knowledge of history that are gifts to this, but we also need to recognize the alliances with young people that are needed here in this moment. And so that's what we're seeing here, is this balancing between two very real and 3D parts of our earth justice, our need for justice right now. Like, this is what we want. We're ready to take action on it. We're ready to talk about it, and it's there appears to be a lightness and a fun, but also a cross-generational experience possible. On some scale in your life, my friend, look to the people that are of a different generation from you for the realization of this vision. There's an Ace of Cups with them. There's a Four of Wands with them. And there's tension. It's happening out there in the heavens, and it's happening right here in your life. And before I stop here, just a few little things to remind us of our difficult passage that we are in. So we are uncomfortable, we are grieving, we feel outside, abandoned. And here's that young energy again, the truth. This is Gemini energy. This is where Mars is. I feel like this Mars in Gemini until March, retrograding in there, like there is a lot of important stuff happening right with that particular part and how it's interacting with the rest of what's happening out there. All right, I hope that made sense. I had a lot to communicate, and I did not take as long as I might have, or as I normally do, to explain it. But sure is interesting to be on this journey with you, my friends. And the message is to go forth with an open heart and reconsider the past and reconsider your 10 of Pentacles, your vision of what it means to be successful. And if you're feeling frustrated right now, it's going to change. And it changes in your heart. Your heart is changing with your ideas. We've seen that Four of Swords and the Six of Swords here to tell us our minds are changing with our hearts. Actually, all that we're doing is learning to go forward with our hearts, heart forth, and everything changes. And if you have prejudice against people who are a different age from you, that's where you need to bring your heart and change your mind. So don't feel outside, grieve what you need to grieve, but go forward once you have grieved, or in grief, continue forward with your heart. It's an exciting time on this planet. We're exactly where we're supposed to be, and Jupiter is inspiring us, and Mars is spurring us on, and Virgo and Saturn are demanding a plan, but it's all going to be okay, says Jupiter. And Mercury knows how to listen to both sides in Libra and bring justice to the situation. So, may the force be with you. I don't know why I wanted to say that, but there you go. To the Star Wars fans out there, have a beautiful day.